Now might I do it, Pat, now he is praying, and now I'll do it. And so he goes to heaven, and so I am revenged? That would be scanned. A villain kills my father, and for that I, his sole son, do the same villain send to heaven. Why, this is hire and salary, not revenge. He took my father grossly, full of bread, with all his crimes broad blown, as flush as May. And how his audit stands, who knows, save heaven? But in our circumstance and course of thought, 'tis heavy with him. And I am then revenged to take him in the purging of his soul when he is fit and seasoned for his passage. No, up, sword, and know thou a more horrid hent, when he is drunk asleep, or in his rage, or in the incestuous pleasure of his bed, at gaming, swearing, or about some act that has no relish of salvation in it. Then trip him, that his heels may kick at heaven, and that his soul may be as damned and black as hell, whereto it goes. My mother stays. This physic but prolongs thy sickly days. Look here upon this picture, and on this, the counterfeit presentment of two brothers. See, what a grace was seated on this brow, Hyperion curls, the front of Jove himself, an eye like Mars to threaten and command, a station like the herald Mercury, new lighted on a heaven-kissing hill. A combination and a form indeed, where every god did seem to set his seal to give the world assurance of a man. This was your husband. Look you now what follows. Here is your husband like a mildewed ear blasting his wholesome brother. Have you eyes? Could you on this fair mountain leave to feed and batten on this moor? Ha! Have you eyes? You cannot call it love, for at your age the heyday in the blood is tame, it's humble, and waits upon the judgment. And what judgment would steep from this to this? Sense, sure, you have, else you could not have motion, but sure, that sense is apoplexed, for madness would not err, nor sense to ecstasy would ne'er so thralled, but it reserved some quantity of choice to serve in such a difference. What devil was it that thus hath cozened you at Hoodman blind? Eyes without feeling, feeling without sight, ears without hands or eyes, smelling sans all, or but a sickly part of one true sense could not so mope. Oh, shame! Where is thy blush? Rebellious hell, if thou canst mutine in a matron's bones to flaming youth, let virtue be as wax and melt in her own fire. Proclaim no shame when the compulsive ardor gives the charge, since frost itself as actively doth burn, and reason panders will. Oh no, now, don't cry, little one, I know. You want your mother.
Hello.
The giant went in that direction.
My darling, I did not recognize you. What are you doing in those old clothes? And with a child? You must go back to the castle at once. There's a giant on the loose.
The giant has been to the castle.
No! Are you all right? you being so cold?
Maybe because I'm not your only love. Am I?
I love you, I do. But yes, it's true.
Why, if you loved me, would you have strayed?
I thought if you were mine, that I would never wish for more. And part of me is content and as happy as I've ever been. But there remains a part of me that continually needs more.
I have, on occasion, wanted more. But that doesn't mean I went in search of it. If this is how you behave as a prince, what kind of king will you be?
I was raised to be charming, not sincere. I didn't ask to be born a king, and I am not perfect. I'm only a human.
I think you should go.
Leave? But I do love you.
Consider that I have been lost, a victim of the giant.
Is that really what you wish?
My father's house was a nightmare. Your house was a dream. Now I want something in between. Please go.
I shall always love the maiden who ran away.
And I, the faraway prince. It's your first big decision. The choice isn't easy to make. To arrive at a ball is exciting at all once you're there, though it's scary. And it's fun to deceive when you know you can leave, but you have to be wary. There's a lot that's at stake, and you've stalled long enough because you're still standing stuck in the stuff on the steps. Better run along home and avoid the collision. Even though they don't care, you'll be better off there where there's nothing to choose, so there's nothing to lose. So you pry up your shoes and throw them out of the blue. And without any guide, you know what your decision is, which is not to decide. You'll just leave him a clue. For example, a shoe, and then see what he'll do. Now it's he and not you who is stuck with a shoe in a stew, in the goo. And you've learned something too, something you never knew, on the steps of the palace.